back to Reviewing with an Advantage. This episode we're going to be reviewing Shades of Vengeance's game, Era the Consortium. Era the Consortium is a fairly hard sci-fi game with most of its scientific concepts grounded in reality. The setting of Era the Consortium spans 3 solar systems connected by wormholes, that means no faster than light travel. The systems are mostly controlled by a consortium of 8 big companies, each with its own portfolio and things that it's in charge of. The setting itself is very well built, with over 500 years of history detailed through a timeline, with evocative fiction detailing key events throughout that timeline. In Era the Consortium there are 4 playable races. Unlike other games, be they sci-fi or fantasy, in which each race has its own vague creation story but they're all playable nonetheless, Era the Consortium details when and where each race meets and joins the Consortium for the first time, meaning that if you choose to play in different periods or eras of the game history, then you can only play several of the races. In addition, each of the races is pretty unique, bringing something that hasn't been seen much before to the table. The first playable race are human beings. They are the majority of the Consortium's inhabitants and the most varied race. The second race are Ulyshians, aquatic octopus people who can choose between forms of exosuits that allow them to survive above water. Another race are the Zimians, and centaur people, not unlike the 3 green from Dark Sun. The final race are Vilithi, shape-changing plant people who can choose between 4 forms that can also change throughout the game. Now, after 130 pages of setting information comes character creation and advancement. It's worth noting that character creation and advancement spans a mere 30 pages, and it consists of only 7 or 8 steps. For a more comprehensive look into character creation, you can check out this video's companion video, Examples of Play Era the Consortium. After the chapter on character creation comes the chapter on implants, equipment, and vehicles. This chapter is pretty comprehensive, but not well placed. It comes before the rules and not after. That means that I have to read this chapter, read the rules, and only then read this chapter again to make sense of all the splats that I see. The rules for Era the Consortium and all Era D10 games are pretty simple. You get a dice pool made of your attribute plus skill rating, you roll a number of d10s equal to the dice pool, and you count successes, which are numbers shown on the dice above the difficulty threshold. After counting successes, you can see how well you succeeded. This system only gets tedious in combat, where way too many conditions and actions are possible. Now, to Shades of Vengeance's credit, for each combat situation they have a flowchart explaining it and the possible actions. However, that's still way too many flowcharts to make any sense of, especially if you're a first-time DM. For a more detailed example of combat, you can check out this video's companion video, Examples of Play Era the Consortium. After the Rules chapter comes a GM's chapter. The GM's chapter starts with 2 pages of GM advice, which is specific to this setting, which is nice. After that come our example campaigns, which are broken down into sessions, with each session being broken down into objectives with criteria for the player's failures and successes. Guidelines are given for creating your own campaigns and sessions in the setting. So, to wrap it up, the good about Era the Consortium: it has gorgeous art throughout the whole book. It's rare to open a page without a big picture in full color, maybe even 2 or 3 in the equipment chapter. The game has a great setting, which is very well thought out. It actually feels like a real world, with plausible cause and effect. Another good point about Era the Consortium is how much support the line sees. You can't let a few months go by without seeing a Kickstarter for a new expansion pop up. The neutral is the generic rule set. The rule set isn't designed specifically for science fiction, nor is it designed specifically for the nuances of Era the Consortium. I think that the whole game suffers for it. While there are perfectly fine generic systems, Era D10 isn't one of them, especially with a setting as intricate as Era the Consortium, which I truly believe deserves its own system. Another neutral point is a set of hardcore rules that are provided for the GM to make life more difficult and challenging for the players. This is neutral because some GMs can choose to use it, some GMs can choose not to. It's okay that they added it, but I doubt most people will use it with the high lethality of combat anyway. The bad points are mostly combat-oriented. There's an overflow of actions and conditions that your character can be placed under. The flowcharts are confusing, speed barely makes sense, with characters being able to move 13 meters then performing an action before other characters, all in a 6-second round. Another iffy point about the system is the skill groupings. You can see during character creation that gunnery and computers are under technical skills, while melee and investigation are under personal skills. Well, each skill has nearly nothing to do with the next. So my final thoughts are that this is probably Shades of Vengeance's best work yet, far eclipsing Era Liars, Era Survival, Era Empowered, and Era Silence in its quality. I think they know it too, or else they wouldn't support it so hard. I think Era the Consortium is highly recommended for anyone who likes role-playing games with intricate settings, especially for fans of science fiction. That's it for this time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.